The Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Cambrai is an archdiocese of the Latin Rite of the Roman Catholic Church in France, comprising the arrondissements of Avesnes-sur-Helpe, Cambrai, Douai, and Valenciennes within the département of Nord, in the region of Nord-Pas-de-Calais. The current Archbishop is François Charles Garnier, appointed in December 2000. Since 2002 the Archdiocese has been a suffragan of the Archdiocese of Lille, reversing the prior arrangement. History. Originally erected in the late 6th century as the Diocese of Cambrai, when the episcopal see after the death of the Frankish bishop St. Vedast was relocated here from Arras. Though subordinate to the Archdiocese of Reims, Cambrai's jurisdiction was immense and included even Brussels and Antwerp. In the early Middle Ages the Diocese of Cambrai was included in that part of Lotharingia which at first had been allocated to the West Frankish king, Charles the Bald, by the Treaty of Meissen of 870, but, after various vicissitudes, came under the rule of the German King Henry the Fowler in 925. After the revolt by Duke Gilbert of Lorraine collapsed at the Battle of Andernach, of 939, Louis IV of France renounced the Lotharingian lands, and in 941 Henry's son and successor King Otto I of Germany ratified all the privileges that had been accorded to the bishops of Cambrai by the Frankish rulers. In 1007, the bishops gained an immediate secular territory when Emperor Henry II invested them with authority over the former county of Cambrai. The Bishop of Cambrai thus became the overlord of the 12 peers of Cambrai. The Prince-Bishopric of Cambrai became an imperial state, located between the county of Hainaut and the border with Flanders and Vermandois in the Kingdom of France, while the citizens of Cambrai struggled to gain the autonomous status of an imperial city. In the 14th and 15th centuries, the bishopric was temporarily a protectorate of the Burgundian dukes, which in 1482, as part of the inheritance of Mary the Rich, passed to her husband Maximilian I of Habsburg. Cambrai from 1512 was part of the imperial Lower Rhenish-Westphalian Circle and, like the Prince-Bishopric of Liege, was not incorporated into the 17 provinces of the Burgundian Circle. Nevertheless, the creation in 1559 of the new Metropolitan See of Mechlin and of 11 other dioceses in the southern Netherlands was at the request of King Philip II of Spain. In order to facilitate the struggle against the Reformation, the change greatly restricted the limits of the Diocese of Cambrai, which, when thus dismembered, was made by way of compensation an archiepiscopal see with the dioceses of Saint-Omer, Tournai and Namur as suffragans. The councils of Leptins, at which St. Boniface played an important role, were held in what was then the part of the former Diocese of Cambrai in the southern Netherlands. Under King Louis XIV, the bishopric of Cambrai finally became French after the Siege of Cambrai of 1677, confirmed in the treaties of Nijmegen of 1678 and 1679. From 1790 Cambrai was part of the new Nord department. By the Napoleonic Concordat of 1801, Cambrai was again reduced to a simple bishopric, suffragan to Paris, and included remnants of the former dioceses of Tournai, Ypres, and Saint-Omer. In 1817 both the Pope and the King were eager for the erection of a see at Lille, but Bishop Louis de Belmas, a former constitutional bishop, vigorously opposed it. Immediately upon his death, in 1841, Cambrai once more became an archbishopric with the Diocese of Arras as suffragan. Bishops for the first bishops of Arras and Cambrai, who resided at the former place, see Arras. On the death of St. Vidalphus the episcopal residence was transferred from Arras to Cambrai. Among his successors were St. Gagericus, St. Bertholdus, Saint Orbit, Saint Vindicanus, who brought King Cedric III of the Franks to account for the murder of Saint Leger of Autun, Saint Adolphus, Alberic and Hildord, contemporaries of Charlemagne, who gave to the diocese a sacramentary and important canons, Halatgar, an ecclesiastical rite and apostle of the Danes, Saint John of Cambrai, Saint Rodadus, full but defended Cambrai from the Magyars and became the first bishop with comital authority in the city. Wiboldus, author of the Ludus Secularis, which furnished amusement to clerkly persons. Erlan, first bishop who was also Count of the Cambraesis, feuded with Count Baldwin IV of Flanders. Gerard I, formerly chaplain to St. Henry II, Holy Roman Emperor, and helpful to the latter in his negotiations with Robert the Pious, King of France. St. Lietbertus, who defended Cambrai against Robert the Frisian. Gerard II introduced the Gregorian reform to Cambrai, last bishop to also be Bishop of Arras. Blessed Odo of Cambrai, celebrated as a professor and director of the School of Tournai, also as a writer and founder of the monastery of Saint Martin near Tournai. Bertrand of Cambrai, who sent St. Norbert and the Premonstratensians to Antwerp to combat the heresy of Tankelin's disciples concerning the Blessed Eucharist. Guillaume de Veleon, Robert II of Geneva, antipope in 1378 under the name of Clement VII. Gerard III, previously Bishop of Arras and Terouanne. Jan IV Thesiclaus, during whose episcopate John the Fearless, son of the Duke of Burgundy, married Margaret of Bavaria at Cambrai. Pierre d'Ailly, John of Burgundy, illegitimate son of Duke John the Fearless of Burgundy. William de Croix, Cardinal in 1517, Apostolic Administrator of Toledo in 1517. Archbishops Jean Richardot, Minister and Diplomat of the Archdukes Albert and Isabella. François de Salignac de la Motte Fénelon, theologian and writer, proponent of Quietism. Cardinal Dubois, minister to Louis XV. Ferdinand Maximilien Mériadec de Rohan. Alfred Duquesne. François Garnier. Notable people. The list of notable people associated with the Diocese of Cambrai is very extensive, and the biographies, although short, take up no less than 4 volumes of the work by Canon des Tombes, exclusive of those saints whose history would be of interest only in connection with the Belgian territory formerly belonging to the diocese. Mention may be made of Saint Hubertus, an itinerant bishop, martyred at Lille, Saint Chrysal, martyr, patron of Comines, and Saint Piat, martyr, patron of Tournai and Seclin, Saint Ferilde, patron of Bruay near Valenciennes. The Irish missionaries Furzi, Kooij, Fricourt, and Altin. St. Winnick, Abbot of Bergs. Blessed Evermod, disciple of St. Norbert and first Bishop of Ratzeburg in Germany. Blessed Charles Le Bon, Count of Flanders, son of King Canute IV of Denmark and assassinated at Bruges in 1127. Blessed Beatrice of Lens, a recluse. The Jesuits Courteland du Béron, first apostles of the Pelou Islands, were martyred in 1701, and Chome, who was prominent in the missions of Paraguay and Argentina in the province of Misions. Also the Oratorian Gratry, philosopher and member of the French Academy, were natives of the Diocese of Cambrai. The English College of Douai, founded by William Allen in 1568, gave in subsequent centuries a certain number of apostles and martyrs to Catholic England. Since the promulgation of the law of 1875 on higher education, Lille has been the seat of important Catholic faculties. Notable French and Flemish composers who served as maître de chapelle at Cambrai include Guillaume Dufay, Robert de Faven, Johannes Lupus and Jean de Bonmarché. See also Johann Esch and Heinrich Vos. Notable chronicle. A chronicle of the bishops of Cambrai was written in the 11th century. This Gesta Episcoporum Cambricensium was for some time attributed to Balderic, Archbishop of Noyon, but it now seems tolerably certain that the author was an anonymous canon of Cambrai. The work is of considerable importance for the history of the north of France during the 11th century, and was first published in 1615. Places. Abbeys under the old regime. The Archdiocese of Cambrai contained 41 abbeys, 18 of which belonged to the Benedictines. Chief among them were the Abbey of St. Kooij, founded near Cambrai about the year 600 in honor of St. Medard by St. Kooij, deacon of the Church of Treves, and who built a chapel on the bank of the Seine, on the site of the future city of Brussels. The Abbey of Hautmont, founded in the 7th century by St. Vincent Madelgris, the husband of St. Wandrew, who was foundress of the chapter at Mons. The Abbey of Soignes, founded by the same St. Vincent, and having 4 abbots, his son Landry, and, in the 11th century, St. Richard. The Abbey of Maubeuge, founded in 661 by St. Aldegonde, the sister of St. Wandrew and a descendant of Clovis and the kings of Thuringia, among whose successors as abbesses were her niece, St. Aldetrude, and another niece, St. Malberte, herself the mother of 2 saints, one of whom, St. Gudule, was a nun at Nivelles and became patroness of Brussels, and the other, St. Reynold, a martyr. The Abbey of L'Aubes, which, in the 7th and 8th centuries, had as abbots St. Landelin, St. Tersmar, St. Terman, and St. Theodulf, and in the 10th century, Heriger, the ecclesiastical writer. The Abbey of Crespin, founded in the 7th century by St. Landelin, who was succeeded by St. Adelin. The Abbey of Mauoy, which St. Humbert I, who died in 682, was abbot. The Abbey of Elnan, founded in the 7th century by St. Amandus and endowed by Dagobert. The Abbey of St. Ghislain, founded c. 650 by St. Ghislain, and having as abbots St. Gerard and St. Popo. The Abbey of Marchienne, founded by St. Richtrudes. The Abbey of Liesses, which, in the 16th century, had 4 abbots. Ven. Louis de Blois, author of numerous spiritual writings. The Abbey of St. Sauve de Valenciennes, founded in honor of the itinerant Bishop St. Sauve, martyred in Hainaut at the end of the 8th century. The Abbey of Cisoing, founded about 854 by St. Eberhard, Count of Flanders, Duke of Friaul and son-in-law of Louis the Debonair. Pilgrimages. The principal places of pilgrimage are Notre-Dame de la Traye at Lille, a church dedicated in 1066 by Baldwin V, Count of Flanders, visited by St. Thomas of Canterbury, St. Bernard, and Pope Innocent III, and where, on the 14th of June 1254, 53 cripples were suddenly cured. Notre-Dame de Grace at Cambrai, containing a picture ascribed to St. Luke. Notre-Dame des Dunes at Dunkirk, where the special object of interest is a statue which, in the beginning of the 15th century, was discovered near the castle of Dunkirk. The feast associated with this, the 8th of September 1793, coincided with the raising of the siege of this city by the Duke of York. Notre-Dame des Miracles at Bourbourg, made famous by a miracle wrought in 1383, an account of which was given by the chronicler Froissart, who was an eyewitness. A Benedictine abbey formerly extant here was converted by Marie Antoinette into a house of noble canonesses. Until a comparatively recent date, the great religious solemnities in the diocese often gave rise to ducasses, sumptuous processions in which giants, huge fishes, devils, and representations of heaven and hell figured prominently. Before the law of 1901 was in force, there were in the diocese Augustinians, English Benedictines, Jesuits, Marists, Dominicans, Franciscans, Lazarists, Redemptorists, Chameleons, Brothers of St. Vincent de Paul, and Trappists. The last named still remain. Numerous local congregations of women are engaged in the schools and among the sick, as, for instance, the Augustinian nuns, the Bernardines of Our Lady of Flines, the Daughters of the Infant Jesus, the Bernardines of Esquernes, the Sisters of Providence, or of Saint Therese, the Sisters of Our Lady of Treya, and the Religious of the Holy Union of the Sacred Hearts.